Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Queer Review.
I'm
That's your
Hannah.
line, Hannah. Okay, there it is.
I knew I fucked
You
this
told
up.
me you were going to mess up your name. You told me you were going to mess it up, and look at what you did. You did. Here, let's start that again. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Queer Review.
I'm Hannah.
And I'm eating peanut butter out of a jar with my finger, but you can call me Benny James. And
What if I want
today's...
to call you? Wait. Pause. What?
What?
I want to call you that now. Hey there, eating peanut butter with your fingers out of a jar.
If you
How's
do
it
that,
going?
I will get a restraining order on you.
We've never
That-
met. It wouldn't
No,
matter.
I know we
live
live on
in two
like
different states.
we live in two different states, but I will still get a restraining order that forces you to live at least halfway into the Atlantic or further. And on that note, welcome to episode 2. Sorry for that week hiatus. I was celebrating my birthday. I am 20
were-
years old.
Yeah, you were aging. Ew.
I'm aging. I'm old and gross. I am sweaty all the time, even when it's cold. Getting old is fun, kids. And I can say that I'm old now because I'm 20 and I pay bills. I think. Anywho, today's episode is called Getting Cancelled Sucks because Hannah and I are reviewing the Netflix original TV show Everything Sucks that began in 2018 and ended in 2018.
I think the show started in January 2018, and then it died in March 2018.
Yeah, it died late March, early April, and less to say, Hannah and I quite disappointed.
Oh yeah, big time. Well,
Very
I think-
unhappy.
I think I was more because I'm the one who found this freaking show. You wouldn't
True,
even watch it. You wouldn't
True,
even.
we can mention that in our before impressions because I think like with Love Simon, like we talked about last time, you and I were both apprehensive, but you and I had very different before expectations. Why don't you talk about your before expectations?
Okay, so I didn't really hear much about the show when it first came out. I saw the trailer on because on Netflix now they have little trailers when you go on.
Right.
So I watched the trailer and I'm like,
Yeah.
that looks. It just honestly, my first thought of this show was like, oh, this is just '90s Stranger Things minus all the cool stuff.
Mm.
And that was honestly my first impression. So I'm like, I didn't think much of it. But then, I went on the internet and I saw all these things with the two characters, Kate and Emmeline, and I saw. I'm like, wait, this show's gay. And I got so excited.
Is this show queer?
Yeah, I got so excited. I started watching it, and I was so happy. And then I started watching it, and I actually really liked it, so much that I messaged Benny because of course I had to.
That's
And
me.
I'm like, Benny, have you watched the show? And she said,
I didn't get done with the first episode because I stopped watching.
and I was super sad because I'm like, well, it's
Yeah,
a really
you
good
were
show.
typing to me. You were typing to me in all caps. You're like,
Oh, I was
Benny!
screaming. I was like,
watch
it's
the show.
I'm like,
And, okay,
please.
Here's the thing. I, like Hannah, I saw the previews, the trailers on Netflix whenever I was going to watch something else, and I saw it and I'm like, oh, I guess it looks interesting. Maybe if I feel like it, I'll give it a try. And so one day I'm like, okay, let's start the first episode. It's Netflix original. It should be good because I've had high expectations and I don't know why I do that. And so I click it and I'm watching the first episode, and in the opening sequence I'm like, wow, way to hit me over the head with a brick of all this 90s nostalgia. There were the slap bracelets, there were people with very 90s centric things. That's just, there was an entire sequence of people just doing 90s things like with Tamagotchis and shit. And yeah, I know the 90s existed, but Jesus. But
Technically we're from the 90s.
technically speaking, I'm from 1998, you're from 1999. We're really damn close. Anywho,
Yeah.
and then I was like, okay, 90s nostalgia, a bit harsh, but let's keep continuing. And so I got to the part where the main characters, Luke, Tyler, and McQuaid were starting their whole AV Club experience, and Luke and Kate, who is an angel. Oh my god, I love Kate. Luke and Kate had that very, I don't know, I wanted to call it like really overly saccharine, you know, eye contact for a
Yeah.
substantial amount of time, and I'm like, well, Jesus Christ, is this show
They
gonna
had
let me make my own assumptions about anything?
They had the straight look TM.
Yeah, they had the straight TM look, and it's like, and I'm like, that, I think that's where I stopped after. I'm like, okay, this show is like spoon feeding me, and I'm like, I'm almost 20 years old. The only person who spoon feeds me is me when I eat peanut butter with a spoon instead of my fingers, like I'm doing right now. Oh.
And so, with that, I said, but Benny, it's gay.
And like, it's like everything just stopped. Everything went silent, and I'm like, really? and Hannah's like, yes, they get gay. There are, and she says in all caps and italicized, lesbians.
Did
And
I
I'm
actually
like,
say that?
yeah,
I don't
you said
remember.
that. You emphasized the lesbians, and
I
TBH,
did,
the show did
oh,
too. But like, and then I'm like, well, fuck. Now I have to keep watching this. I have to, like, formulate ideas, watch for the queerness, and then possibly talk about it here on TQR. So, and the rest is history, and I fell in love. And Jesus Christ, am I upset that this show got canceled?
Oh yeah, we both. I remember we were on a voice call with like the with like Dylan and Jade, and like we were playing freaking
Dylan and Jade are our friends, by the way, because we have those.
Oh yeah. Forgot to clarify that. We were playing freaking I can't remember the name. I want to say
Weren't
Fortnite.
we playing
It's not-
Paladins?
Paladins. Why did I think Fortnite? It's not Fortnite. Anyway,
Because
we were-
we're not idiots. We don't play.
we were playing
Fortnite.
Paladins, and I was on
Shout
my
out
friend...
to my brother who plays Fortnite. Hi, Aaron.
Anyway, and we were playing Paladins, and I checked my friend's Snapchat, and she had posted a screenshot of an article that said everything sucks is canceled, and I'm like, wait, what? And so I literally got off the game, and I googled it, and there all the articles were that said it was canceled, and I'm like, I got so sad, and they all saw it, you saw it, everybody else saw it.
Hmm.
It was a bad night.
Well, I mean, you and I were the only people that were really invested in the show in our group of friends. So, like, naturally, you and I were like sobbing over it, and they're all like,
You were
"What's
denying
this
it
show?"
completely.
I
you're like-
was denying it. I'm like, no, this is not happening. They cannot take this away from us. The lesbians got a happy ending. Spoiler alert, by the way. This whole podcast is a big spoiler. But like, oh, they can't take that away from me. But they did.
They took it away from all of us.
Speaking of lesbians, speaking of happy endings, and speaking of characters, what did we like about this? What did you like, Hannah? Other than the lesbians, because TBH, we all love the lesbians.
I really liked the way that the show, like the flow of everything that the show was really nice. Like, nothing felt like it was just too out of left field, except for two things that I will talk
Which
about later.
things? Oh, well, okay, we'll bring them up later.
Well, we'll bring that up when we talk about this bad stuff, because there's two things, but they're like, they don't break the show for me. Anyway, everything felt really natural, and everything kind of, like, progressed really nicely. So it's just, like, it felt like a very relaxed show, because I like to watch shows that, like, have a lot of, like, angst and drama. This just felt, like, so laid back, and I really liked that.
Mm-hmm.
I loved the relationship between Luke and Kate, because it proves that just because you're a guy and a girl doesn't mean you automatically have to get together. And
Exactly,
I love that.
and it helps. It helps when the girl is a lesbian.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but like, because my best friend Luke, my best friend who's
You
also
have a best friend
named
named Luke? Jesus.
Luke. He and I are like best friends, like inseparable, but we do not want to date. At least I don't want to date him, and we're just good with being friends. But literally, everybody thinks we're dating secretly, and we're not.
Are you?
We're not.
Please confess
Benny!
it live on air. Please
Benny!
confess.
No.
Yes?
I'm not
Okay.
dating Luke. For
Okay.
like the zillionth time, I'm not dating him. I love him.
Can I ship
but
it?
he's not. No. Well, you can do
Well.
whatever you want.
Yeah.
I can't stop you, but we're not dating. Anyway,
Yeah.
not the point.
I have a friend like that.
Not the point. So, I don't know. I just really like seeing this male and female character who are not in a relationship and are just really good buds. Even though it
Yeah.
really hurts Luke in the show.
It does. It hurts a lot.
Man, so good.
Hurts like a fucking Lego to
But
the
he
bottom of your foot.
But he comes through at the end.
He does.
He like
He's supporting.
yeah, and I'm just like, thank you. Oh, so good.
Mhm.
Also,
See-
Oliver and Emmeline are like best characters because they're just
I-
so much fun.
Hated them, and then I began to love them, and I'm like, God damn it! How did this show do it?
Luke, they're not Luke. Sorry, Benny. That's the point.
I'm speechless. Oh, but yeah, that's exactly right. That is the point. And like Emmeline was the person who started the whole mean rumors about Kate being a lesbian when she forces her to touch her boobs in the locker
Yeah.
room.
I
And I'm
remember
like,
you-
I texted you and I'm like, okay, I'm liking the show now, but if Kate ends up with this girl who sexually harassed her and started rumors about her, I'm going to be pissed. And you're like,
And I'm like, okay. I'm like-
okay.
I'm like, sure, Jan.
Sure, Jan. But, god damn it, at the very end of the show, I mean, I have nothing but support for Kate and Emmeline. They
Oh my
are
God.
they are my
Kate
lesbian
is-
OTP for as long as, as
Yep.
long as I'm alive.
Also, Kate
And,
is
like-
one of my new favorite characters of all time. Like, I'm not kidding, because
Oh, she's such a good character.
she's a lesbian. She's
Yes.
into AV. She's
Yes.
adorable.
Yes.
Just so much about her just makes me want to ugh. I wish I could have known Kate like in high school. Like I needed a Kate in high school. I didn't have one,
Everyone
but-
needs a Kate in high school. And like Peyton Kennedy is such a talented actress. She's like
Oh my god,
like,
yes.
Okay. Here's the thing I really like that also relates to the point I'm trying to make. I liked how these high school characters were most clearly played by high school actors. Like Jesus
Yes.
Christ. I was worried they were gonna pull a Glee and they get like 23-year-old Leah Michelle being a sophomore in high school, but like these high school freshmen were played by literal high school freshmen. Like Peyton Kennedy is only 14 years old right now.
And she's
like-
my height, which is really weird because I'm like 5'9", and I'm like,
Listen, Hannah, you're perfect.
I know, thank you.
Good. This is the kind of support we have here on the queer review. But
Hell yeah.
like everybody, as soon as like they opened, I'm like, wow, these high schoolers look like high schoolers. And you're like, they're small, they're awkward, and like even like Emmeline and Oliver, who are like older in the school, were like they didn't look like full-fledged adults
They were
trying to play high school
or
junior.
Oliver was a senior and Elmine was
Yeah.
a junior. So
Yeah, and they looked exactly like that. Like, if I go on to Sydney Sweeney, who played Emmeline, oh shit, it doesn't have her birthday on IMDb, but I'll Google it while I talk. And, so, wait, what was her name? Sydney
Sydney
Sweeney.
Sweeney.
Isn't that a good name? Sydney Sweeney, American
I like it.
actress. She is, oh, she's my age. She's 20.
Is she really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, like, I could still be playing, like, a high school senior, TBH. I'm 6'3", but, like, other than that,
You'd
I'm
be
not
one
that
of
far off.
You'd be the one who's like stopped growing in like 3rd grade.
Yeah, I was a 6'3" I was a 6'3" third grader.
Hell yeah.
Fun fact for our
That's
listeners.
a thing. That's a thing.
Oh, yeah, that's totally a thing. But, like, the realistic actors for their age groups were really, really well done. And in the process of doing that, they really built the sympathy and the reality behind who they were as characters and how their relationships with each other and the plot points that they were part of. Because, like, the parts where, like, Emmeline was all like, Oliver, you're a senior and you're just gonna ditch me. You're gonna leave to New York and that's not fair to me. And I'm like, yeah, you're right, Emmeline. And, like, that's a legitimate concern that I knew some people in my, like, when we were juniors in high school, like, some of them were dating seniors and I sometimes overheard them saying, like, oh, my boyfriend is gonna graduate and I don't know if we're gonna be able to stay together. And I'm like, this is a legitimate, like, high school aged relationship problem.
Right.
It's not like what they did in Glee. Sorry, I'm trashing on Glee, but TBH, Glee did it to itself. Also, we should do an episode on Glee.
I don't watch Glee, but okay.
Oh my god. It's so bad. It's so great. Oh god. Okay, another episode. Anywho, like in Glee, they're all like they're having these like, I'm not sure if I'm in love with this person, or like, I'm gonna spend the rest of my life with you, or like I'm gonna propose to you when I'm a senior or junior in high school. It's like that's what fucking adults do. Those are adult problems. Those are adult commitments. And this whole my boyfriend's gonna graduate and he's gonna leave me here. That's a legitimate high school relationship problem. And like, thank you to Everything Sucks for making your high schoolers actual high schoolers and like building the reality of these characters.
Yeah, that's kind of like back to what I was saying before. Like, I feel like because a lot of the shows I watch are like serious angst and drama, and like
Angst.
yeah, and like not to bring up another sore subject, but Riverdale has
Oh my god, I can't wait till we do our Riverdale episode.
I can't wait till we rip it to shreds. Anyway, so here's the thing: Riverdale has high schoolers as their main characters, but does not give them realistic high school issues.
No.
Not in the slightest.
They do not. Nope, not
in the
at all.
slightest. Which is why
There's
show's
kidnapping.
so refreshing.
There's murder.
There's monsters.
Betty like secondhand murdered a bitch, but also keep in mind this is not a Riverdale episode. We can't get into this right now.
I know, but I really want to. Anyway.
Hey, here's another thing. The parents, Ken and Sherry, I loved them.
Oh, so good. They were so good.
Ken was he's just such a dad. And he's like, oh, I just want to support Kate, and like, I just want her to be happy while she's in high school, even though I'm like, she's the principal's daughter. And then Sherry is like, well, I'm a single parent too, and it, sometimes it's sucky, sometimes it's hard. But then in each other, they found they found love, and like, I'm really, really happy for them. And I'm also really glad that their children didn't start to date, because that would have been weird.
Yeah. No, I'm glad. I think my favorite thing about the parents, is that, like, they were just, again, they were, like, really relatable. Like, they weren't, like, I feel like, because something that I've learned about the 90s, because, I know so much about the 90s.
Oh, yes, of course.
Is that a lot of the time, parents were just seen as, like, these authoritative dicks who are, like, they've got nothing to them except the fact that they're your parents and that they suck. But, like, these were, like, genuinely good people. Like, they make mistakes, but, like, they're still people. Like, they're still, they're realistic,
Exactly.
and I like that.
They're just bigger versions of us who made smaller versions of us. If that makes any sense. You got really quiet there.
Yeah. No, it's
You
just,
got quiet after I said that.
that just sounded so weird.
It did. I'm sorry I said it. Officially
okay,
retracted.
But it's just these are bigger people who made smaller people. Like,
well, what do you think about it?
They did, but still.
Oh my god. I just kicked my cord. There might be some audio feedback. Okay,
Great. Thanks
but like
for that.
exactly. These parents are also real people, just like how their kids are real people with real problems. And like, who says adults can't date? Who says adults, especially when it comes to single parenting, which I will never know what that feels like because I'm not going to have kids, but like for somebody else, I feel like this is a good representation of how, like, sure, maybe sometimes your life moves in directions you can't control, but at the same time, you can still go out there, be happy, and find people you like. Go date the principal of the school or some shit,
Yeah.
Also, speaking of the school, we should talk about how well developed all the, like, side characters are.
Yes. I love all the side characters in this. I love all the characters in this. Let's be real. Like,
There's no character I hated. There wasn't a Martin in this.
Hear that? Love Simon?
Hear that, Love Simon?
This is how you do characters well.
Yeah. Yeah, the queer review is coming after you. Yeah. All two of us. All of me and Hannah.
We still love you, Love Simon, but
we still love your movie. We just hate Martin.
Yeah.
But if you want to hear a detailed explanation of why we hate Martin, go watch episode 1.
So, yeah, I love who's the two news anchors at the high school. They were
Jessica and Scott Pocket.
Yeah.
Scott Pocket said some douchey, like, things to Jessica live on the air, but, like, it was done in a way that was like, why am I, like, laughing at this? This is endearing more than it is creepy. But, like, overall, like, I really like how the AV Club and the theater club joined forces to make the movie. And, like,
Yes.
they got Jessica and Scott Pocket. They also got Cedric, and they got Emmeline, and they got Oliver. And, like, I really liked seeing.
Well, Benny, they had to put Emmeline and Oliver in it. Like.
Well, duh. They're okay. I'm sorry. Gotta dish out the salt a little bit here.
Wait,
but,
no. If you're gonna dish out salt, save it for this bad stuff. Save it for the stuff where you don't like.
Fine. I hate that we made a structure for ourselves.
Listen, we don't have to follow the structure if we don't want to. You're the one who wanted
Well,
to follow
listen.
the structure.
Well, listen. If we don't follow the structure, we descend into madness.
But it's okay, because we're both crazy, so what's the point?
The point is that we don't want to get our podcast removed from the Goose Thunder Podcast Network.
We can still make the podcast if it's not part of the network. Just saying.
Yeah, but the network helps.
I know it does.
Anywho, I'll save my. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm still eating peanut butter.
Was it really a good idea to eat peanut butter while we're recording?
Listen, I don't make good decisions. Anyway, in the school, like, when they're doing that and they make their movie, it really reminded me of when I was a freshman in high school. I had friends, like, really close friends as a freshman who were, like, seniors and juniors. And so seeing freshmen in high school bond with seniors and juniors like that, where it's like, sure, the age difference might be scary. You might think there's, like, this hierarchy in high school, which there definitely can be at times, but, like, we're all still people and we all still like being friends with other people. And, like, them coming together was, like, something that it touched my heart. And it was very heartwarming to see all these kids come together and make a campy yet really well made movie.
Yeah, no, so just a quick side note. As somebody who was studying filmmaking, this show made me appreciate being born when I was, because I'm like, I would have been a real bitch to have to be born in the 90s and want to make movies, because
Oh my god,
video editing is infinitely harder on VHS than digital, but
yeah, I was watching Luke during his spiral out of control when he, like, was angry at everybody, like, trying to edit video. I'm like, I know this little muffin is upset right now, but I'd be more upset at trying to edit video. Like, Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, video editing is still hard, don't get me wrong, but, like, it must have been infinitely harder when it's on a VHS tape and not on a computer. But just a quick side note. What were we talking about before this? Fuck.
We were talking about all the characters, but this isn't a salt section, but, like, it's also, we're not talking about a happy thing. Can we talk about, like, Luke and his dad? 'Cause, like, that was fucking heartbreaking.
I know. This show had a lot of heartbreaking moments in it. Like,
God, this show is so good. Why did they cancel it?
I don't know.
But, like, that scene in the video store when they were in LA, it was like, oh my god. Like, to have to do that, to, like, be unrecognizable to your own father, who was around for, like, a good portion of the beginning of your life.
Ugh.
And I get it, like, kids grow up and they change, but, like, you should know your own kid maybe on some level.
But he's been gone for that long that he doesn't even know him. That's the
And
whole
that's
point.
so fucking sad.
I know.
Oh, and then Kate has to deliver that whole monologue about her mother killed herself.
Which is just proof that Peyton Kennedy is the greatest actress ever. Or at least,
Peyton Kennedy is the greatest actress of our generation. Let's be honest. But
yeah. Let's be honest.
Let's be honest. And Jesus, they really had these kids go through really shitty stuff.
Like, and here's the other thing. Not to keep bringing this back, but this goes back to that first point where it's like, this is a very realistic interpretation of high schoolers. Like, yeah, this stuff is terrible, but they handle it how high schoolers would handle it. They handle it like actual kids would handle it. Like this, like
See, I thought you were gonna say Riverdale, and I'm like, I swear to God.
I was, but I didn't.
Oh, thank you.
But you said it, so it's the.
Listen, you just keep going on with your point.
But like, I don't know. I feel like this is how you should, like, if you want to give characters angsty backstories and stuff like that. You don't really like. This is just how you do it. You don't have it be like a freaking Batman story where it's like like my parents were killed, so now I avenge them and like dress up like a bat. You know, just have them be like, my mom killed herself, so I just try and live life. You know, let's just
Exactly.
do our best. So I like that. That was really good too. I liked a lot about the show.
I really liked Leslie. I thought she was a ball of sunshine. And
Leslie.
although she did say some problematic things, she's like, I'll pray for you. Like she's gonna pray the gay away for Kate. And I'm like, ooh, that's bad. But also, that's just what a thing about Leslie that makes her Leslie. But like other than that, when she's like dancing to the what was that song that they kept listening to? I think it was by Aqua, and where they were like,
I should know.
oh, this reminds me of a point I need to bring up in things we don't like, but
okay, wait, hang on. Let's just go to the episodes, because I think it's the title of the episode.
It's like dun 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 dun, oh, dun 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 dun.
It's a beautiful day.
Ah, yeah, it's a beautiful day. Oh, and then
it's like stuck on a loop forever and ever, and I'm like,
yes, because that's the only cassette they have, and they're like, I liked the progression of how they were all really pumped to sing it when they were on their way, but when everybody's like driving back, they're all just sitting there being sad.
No, Stargrove's jamming to it because he got late.
Yeah, and it's like, but then they're all sad. And then, like, Luke just, like, takes it out of the cassette player and tosses it out the window. I'm like, oh, that was symbolic. It was really good. Do you have more things you want to say that you like? Or should we move on to the salt?
Well, I should just move on to the salt, because it's easier to talk about stuff I don't like, because there's only 2 things. I could sit here and talk all day about what I liked about the show. But let's move on to the stuff we don't like.
I think I have 2 things as well. You can go first.
Okay, so the 2 things I took some issue to. It's not even close enough to ruining the show for me, but 2 things that I was just kind of questioning. One was Oliver leaving. Like, okay, I understand why he had to leave.
That was such a dick move.
I understand why he left in the context of the show. Like, he had to leave because then Emmeline and Kate could get closer, and then they could be lesbians, and it would be beautiful. But
exactly,
it just felt totally out of left field in the writing. Like, he's making the movie and everything like that, and then just like, bam, he leaves for New York. Like, I know he said he was gonna do that, but like, here he is doing the movie, which is gonna get him famous, but he just decides to leave. Like, I don't know, that didn't make a ton of sense to me. And the other thing that kind of bugged me, I guess, I don't really know what the right word is.
That's a good word for it.
The other thing that kind of bugged me was the transition of Emmeline to liking Kate. I feel like it just that also kind of came out of nowhere a little bit. Like, there was never like,
it was believable, but like, I also feel that like it's a little
it was just kind of
why
like,
are you being so nice? I was suspicious.
Like, it was like, as soon as Oliver left, she just started liking Kate suddenly, and I'm like, there was never any hint of this prior. Unless you want to count the scene where they're in the thrift store.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say, that like where she's helping her get dressed, and she's like realizing that, well, like, Kate's cute as a button, and
of course she is.
Of course she is. She's beautiful little Kate. And like, who wouldn't be in Lesbians with Kate? But like,
well,
I would agree.
She's, 14.
Mm-hmm. Like, they were gonna kiss in the hotel room before Leslie interrupted them, and Oliver was still there.
No, he wasn't.
Yes.
No, he wasn't. Oliver leaves before they go on the trip to the.
Oh yeah, that's right. He doesn't go on the trip to LA. That's right. You are correct. Yeah. And I am incorrect.
This is what happens when you watch the show before you actually record. You learn stuff.
I'm sorry. Do you want to fight?
I'm sorry.
Do you?
Who are you again?
Hey, how about you just go look at the moon, okay? Okay,
I don't know what that
okay.
means!
I know you don't know what that means. That's why I'm saying it. Jade knows what it means. Shout out to Jade if you're listening to this episode.
Of course she is.
Of course she's going to listen to this episode. She's part of Goose Thunder. She, like, contractually has to. Anyway.
Does she?
But yeah, you can... I think she should. Anyway. But yeah, go look at the moon. Anyway.
I don't know what that means, though. Whatever. All right.
It means what it means. Was that your second point, or do you still have another point?
That was my second point. It was just, like, kind of the transition. Like, they went from, like, not speaking to each other to being in the hotel room, and it's like, I just want to kiss you. What? Nothing? I'm not gay. What? And then, like, that just, again, that just, like...
Did my gay slip out? I'm so sorry.
Again, that, like, I don't know, that just felt like... Don't get me wrong, I love the relationship and everything. I just feel like that was just, like, weird, awkward transition, but...
A little bit.
But
not bad.
Again,
because we still love them and we still support them.
Absolutely. This didn't ruin the show for me at all, but... Just kind of felt awkward.
My God,
all right, what are your
people on this
points?
floor open up doors so loudly. Okay. Here's the thing I had an issue with. I know I mentioned at the beginning the reason why I stopped watching was it was a little bit too heavy-handed with the 90s nostalgia, and it was a bit too obvious with where it was going with the plot. I thought it was just going to be this awkward 90s high school teen straight romance, but like we said, it changed. But they prominently used 90s music because, like I said, they're in the 90s. But that doesn't change the fact that literally no good music came out of the 90s. Like, 90s music is so bad. Like, sure, you can have, like, your cult followings of, like, grunge rock bands or, like, something or other. And there were, like, artists from the 80s who rose to prominence in the 80s and then continued their careers throughout the 90s. But they're still primarily known as 80s artists because that's when they got famous. And, like, okay, I will admit, Celine Dion rose to prominence in the 90s, but she doesn't count as 90s music because she was discovered back in 1988 when she won Eurovision for the country of Switzerland, so she's exempt. And
Is she really?
Yeah, she won Eurovision in 1988 for the country of Switzerland. Also, the Eurovision Song Contest, semifinal 1, airs this Tuesday. I am so excited. Anywho,
do you really feel I need to do a product placement for fucking
yes,
Eurovision?
I need to do a product placement for fucking Eurovision because I love fucking Eurovision. Semifinal 1, Tuesday on BBC One, and also any other country that broadcasts the show. Anywho, but other than that, well, I guess I am a sucker. I am gay. I am a slut for the Backstreet Boys. Like hella slutty for the Backstreet Boys, and I know they were pretty late 90s and then like early 2000s, but like, oh my God, the other day I stumbled onto a playlist of Backstreet Boys songs, and the like acapella chords of "Show Me the Meaning of Being Lonely" hit my ears, and I'm like, oh my god, I forgot how good Backstreet Boys is. And I'm like, so those are the only exceptions for the 90s rule that 90s music sucks. I'm sorry if this offends our listeners. Trigger warning, but it's true. It's true. 90s music is just bad. Like, especially Wonderwall. No offense to my friend Olivia, who loves Wonderwall. Like, you can have your favorite song if you want. But, oh my god, Oasis is just so bad. And not to mention, they're just like, ugh. Okay, I'm just gonna round this all out by saying I don't like 90s music because 90s music is bad. And the way that they used it so much throughout the show sometimes annoyed me. But, like, at the same time, when they went to that, who was it that Kate really liked? Was it Alanis Morissette? No, Tori Spelling. Was it Tori Spelling that they went to see the concert?
No.
Who was it?
No. I will look it up.
It was, who was it? Wait, is Tori Spelling even an artist? I
don't think so. I think you just pulled
Tori
that...
Spelling, I think it's just Tori Spelling's just a celebrity. It was, Jesus, why can't I remember this?
Hang on a second.
It wasn't Alanis Morissette. I don't think.
Give me a second.
Hannah, this is taking a dramatically long time.
I'm looking at Wikipedia. Hang on.
It wasn't Fiona Apple, because Fiona Apple is also trash.
I like one
Sorry,
song
Fiona
by
Apple.
Fiona Apple, but it's not even her song originally. It's like
Hey,
the cover
how about
song.
you keep it? How about you keep that to yourself?
Okay then.
It was-
Wonderwall.
Show me the meaning.
Tori Amos.
Tori Amos. Yeah.
Amos. I don't know.
Amos.
So you got the Tori part.
I
and
remember.
Tori spelling, right?
I remember
but
it's
Tori spelling.
yeah.
Is not.
It's
an
Tori
artist.
Amos, because I remember hearing it and I chuckled to myself and I'm like, Tori Amos, more like Tor your anus.
What?
And then I laughed to myself because nobody was around while I was making the jokes and I got sad. But yeah,
Sorry.
when they went to the Tori Amos concert and like he had Kate drive the car there, that was so cute. And I'm like, look at you go, Kate. Look at you. And then she sees that like happy lesbian couple at the Tori Amos concert and I'm like, okay, this is the only way that I find it acceptable to use this 90s music when Kate is having her 90s gay awakening, and I'm like, I am there for that. But other than that, sorry, 90s music, not a fan. Sometimes found it a little annoying. Also,
I liked their use of the one song, like we were just talking about before, like where they're on the bus, like it starts off with all of them singing along, like it's happy, and then they're going back, they're playing the exact same song, but only one character's
and they're
happy.
fucking sick of it.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of funny.
Okay, I guess that one is also good. But like transitional 90s music, like at the beginnings of episodes or like in between scenes, I'm like, could use without. But again, I'm biased because 90s music is trash, and that is just a fact that we have to live with. Anywho, shit, I was talking so much about how much I don't like 90s music that I totally
you
forgot.
You forgot your second
I totally
point.
forgot my other point.
Man.
Also, Britney came from the 90s, and I'm gay, so I have to like Britney. But also, she's talented, which is also why I like Britney. Anywho, oh, I did mention earlier how I was like, well, I don't know if I ship Emmeline with Kate because, you know, of that really, really mean thing she did to Kate in the locker room and then started spreading rumors. And I'm like, well, that's kind of shitty. I don't know if I can support this relationship or not. But like I said, by the end, I was convinced and I'm like, this was really good. And I'm glad this happened. And I was like crying because I'm like, I can't. And then as soon as the fucking, oh, here's something I also didn't like. It's not the show's fault that this happened. They ended on a cliffhanger.
But see,
Luke's
they didn't
dad
know.
shows up at Luke's house and knocks on the door while Kate and Sherry and all of them are having dinner together. And, like, he knocks on the door and I'm like, that's where the episode ends. That's where the season ends. And that's it.
And
And I'm like, oh, well, now they... Exactly, because I sat there and I thought, oh, well, now they have to have a season 2. Well, fuckity no, I guess they don't. And so... This is not the show's fault because the show did not get itself canceled. Netflix
Right.
canceled it. But
Netflix
like
canceled it because it hates lesbians. Don't quote me
Ah,
on that.
Netflix hates lesbians. You can quote me on that. Quote Benny James, not Hannah.
Yeah, don't quote me on that.
I
don't want to get sued.
but that's I'm just so upset, Hannah. Can we just gripe for a little bit? Can we gripe and moan about how upset we are that this got canceled?
Sure. I kind of already
Oh
got
my
that out
God.
of my system, so you go for it.
This is me moaning and this is me griping. Oh my god, I'm just so upset. It's upsetting because the queers got a happy ending. Emmeline and Kate, they kissed on the stage and
Well,
it was like that victorious moment of yay lesbians.
well, here's the thing. They didn't totally get a happy ending because they still have the issue of that Kate's dad doesn't know.
That's true. That would have been a season 2 arc to pursue.
But let's be real. Kate's dad would have totally accepted her. Like,
Oh my god, he's the best dad.
He would have like
100%.
totally like he would have been like, I love you no matter who you like, and it would have been great, and it would have been beautiful, and I want it, but I can't have it.
He is a great dad boy.
Oh.
The best of dads. 10 out of 10.
Okay.
And like how he's like, well, you already punctured a hole in your nose. We might as well put a piercing in it.
Is that what I should do?
That was so cute.
Mom, I put a hole
Hannah.
in my nose. Can I just put a jewel in it? No.
Hannah, your mother would be upset.
I know she would.
My mother would also be upset, but she'd be like, well, let's put a jewel in it, I guess, or a ring or something. Actually, I made a promise to my sister that next year when I turn 21, she gets to take me out to a bar and then get my nose pierced. Because she was like, Benny, let's get your nose pierced this year. And I'm like, well, you see, I can only take on about one drastic change to my body a year. This year was me shaving off all my hair and keeping it like that. And next year will be piercing my nose. But, you know, everything in its time. But, like,
In due time.
the whole, Kate's little nose stud, that was so cute. And she's just like, I just want her to be happy. And I like pretending in my mind that she is happy with Emmeline.
Yeah.
And even though McQuaid was all like, I love Emmeline. And he's all like, Emmeline's kissing a girl. And then he's upset about it. And I'm like, well, you don't get them all, kid. Sometimes they're lesbians. And that's just how the world works. Sometimes
Very
they're
rarely.
just lesbians.
Very rarely, but it happens.
Yeah, well, it probably happens a lot more than the media would like us to recognize.
Yeah.
Side eye to all the media out there who do not give the lesbians the labels they deserve.
Oh, yeah. Looking at
At Netflix, canceling our lesbians.
Not to say the show that must not be named, but looking at you, Riverdale, for cutting that scene where Cheryl calls Tony her girlfriend.
Wait, they cut that?
There was in that musical episode there was apparently a scene where where Cheryl calls Tony her girlfriend and they cut it.
Boo! Let the bisexuals be happy.
Yeah.
We could also make an entire episode. We're gonna have to talk about that during our Riverdale
We're gonna have to
episode.
do like a 5-part episode of Riverdale because there's just so much to talk about.
There is a lot to talk about, especially because we have 2 seasons to cover.
Yeah, we could probably do like
Also-
We could probably talk about like season 1 in one episode and then season 2 in another. if we
Oh,
wanted.
part 1 is season 1 and part 2 is season 2 because they are very different. Like Jesus Christ. I think that this Wednesday is the season finale. Am I correct?
Is it? No, I think.
I think it is.
Is it 21 episodes or 22 episodes?
I think it was 22 episodes.
Then this isn't the season finale because this is episode 21.
What the fuck? Okay.
But that ending
Well-
of last episode, oof.
Oh my God! It's the Black Hood. It's Cheryl. Sorry, spoiler alerts for Riverdale. I guess.
Dude, we're just slap spoiler alert on there. Like, we should just call our show Spoiler Alert. No more queer review. It's called Spoiler Alert.
Spoiler alert. Okay, well, I mean, then we'll just sit around for like maybe 10 minutes at a time just saying spoilers about shows. Forget the queer aspects of it all. I mean, it's just spoiler alert. So and so
Spoiler alert.
dies. Spoiler alert. Kate Messner's a lesbian. And we love her.
Ah.
But yeah, if this Wednesday is the season finale. Wait, even if next Wednesday, because we record every other week, our next episode should be Riverdale, correct?
I mean, yeah, it can be.
Yay! Oh, I'm so excited.
Oh, I'm excited too. That means I get to watch the first season again. I actually kind of like the first season, but we'll get to that next week.
The first season was campy and great. Anywho, but yeah, we'll get to that next week. Next week.
Next episode. Right.
Before we end the episode, I forget, we have to rate this show. What did we give it?
Well, since we haven't been talking about it for the past like 5 minutes,
I'm talking about Everything Sucks, not Riverdale.
I know what you're talking about. I just find it funny that we got completely sidetracked and now we're just bringing it back.
Look, Riverdale sidetracks your life whether you like it or not.
That's a big fucking mood. All right.
That's a big mood. Oh, worm.
Stop it.
I like oh, worm. Let me say oh, worm.
No.
See, part of me thinks we should have just named this episode Netflix Hates Lesbians, but I feel like that's a really mixed emotions.
We're gonna get so many people coming out.
Netflix Hates Lesbians, episode 2
like,
of the Queer Review with Hannah and Benny.
I mean, are there other shows with lesbians in it from Netflix? I mean, wait.
There's Sense8
No, what's there? Oh, there's another
that
show.
got canceled.
there's another show. It's like a sitcom. One Day at a Time. One of the characters in there is a lesbian, I think.
Hey, good for them. But anywho,
yeah.
what's your rating of Everything Sucks? Scale of 1 to 10. 1 being it's Martin from Love, Simon, and 10 being
No, Martin's a
it's-
negative like 90.
Oh, Martin is a negative 90. Maybe we should do a bonus episode of We Hate Martin, and we just tear into him.
Yeah. We analyze him like,
And then we tear into him emotionally
Uh,
and psychologically.
okay.
But, okay, sorry, I keep derailing.
I don't know why, but I hesitate to give this show a perfect score because I don't think as much as I love it,
You don't seem like the person that gives anything a perfect score.
the only thing I can think of that has a perfect score is honest to God Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh my god, Avatar The Last Airbender gets a fucking 11. Are you kidding me?
Anyway,
We could, okay, it's not
I don't-
necessarily a queer show, but we could do an episode of why we love Avatar The Last Airbender.
it's so good. It's so good.
Also, because I have the gayest crush on Aang, like, Jesus Christ.
Is that why you shaved your head?
No, not necessarily. But, like, as a kid, I'm like, I really like Aang. He's funny, and he's nice, and he's really, like, you know, a good guy. Anywho,
Toph is
Sorry.
my favorite character, and Toph is best character, and you can fight me
Okay.
on that. Anyway,
Toph is literally the best character. Also a lesbian.
yeah, let's be real. All right,
So other than Avatar, which would get a beyond perfect score, what would Everything Sucks get?
I'm gonna give it a solid 9 out of 10.
Whoa! 9 out of 10! You
Yeah.
heard it here first, folks. The first ever 9 out of 10 from Hannah on the Queer Review. See, I gave
This is
a
only our
9 out of
second
10
episode,
to Love,
though.
Simon. I know, this is why it's momentous, because it's probably never going to happen again.
I don't know. Stuff could happen.
I don't
Stuff
know.
could change.
Here's the thing. So my score, I would give it a 9, but the fact that I had to stop watching before the first episode was even halfway through was like sort of an emotional blocker for me as I started to continue it. And it was thanks to you, Hannah, that I actually finished it and I fell in love with it. But
Oh,
when a
good.
show loses me before the end of the first episode, I mean, even though it totally was redeemed with the lesbians and the lovable characters and everything that happened in season 1, or the only season, it was really something I was glad I watched. But at the same time, I can't forget that, well, if it weren't for Hannah, I never would have watched this. So
Yeah.
I will give it, out of 10, a...
There's only so many numbers you can pick from.
I know there's so many options. There's like, how many options? I will give it an 8.
All right.
An 8 out of 10.
All right.
Because I think 8, 9, and 10 are like the, mathematically speaking, they are the strongest scores you can get.
That's how the
because-
American education system works. You can get, if you get
Exactly.
100, an 80, or a 90, you're good. Anything below
Exactly.
that, and you're a failure.
Well, listen, maybe. No, actually. I would still say 7 signifies something that's could be like good, but like maybe not really good.
Mhm.
And like 1 is like 1 and 2 is like you hated it. 3 and 4 is like you hated it but had like a little bit of good things. 5 and 6 are like it was okay. I didn't love it, I didn't hate it. 7 is like that special. 7 and 8 are the special sort of I loved it, but like one little caveat. And then 9 and 10 is like I could barely find a fault with it. And so that's why I'm like giving it the 8, because it was really good. I'm so sad that it didn't get a second season. And
all
I'm
are.
so sad that the whole trending like justice for Kate, or like whatever it was that was on
It was like, I am
Peyton
Kate
Kennedy's
Messer.
I Am Kate Messner, yeah, and they're like, give it a season 2, and I'm like, well, as much as we would want it to, I think that it's okay that we let Everything Sucks exist how it exists in just one season. And even though it really sucks. But yeah, an 8 out of 10 is what I give it, even though that 8 out of 10 comes with a very heavy heart.
I feel that.
Oh, this was so much fun. I really like this show.
Fun. Yeah.
This was great.
Got
So
a little sidetracked, but we're all right.
we got sidetracked with Riverdale, but TBH, we get sidetracked with Riverdale no matter what we're talking about, even if we're talking about Riverdale. But anywho,
Riverdale's just such a great example for how not to do a TV show.
wow, that was scathing. So that's a little taste of what you all can get. That's what you guys can get if you tune in next time for episode 3 of our review of Riverdale season 1, and this will be a 2-part episode because we can't really get through 2 seasons of the show all in one go. And that episode will be called, what is it? Oh, I think I named it
These are
like,
teenagers.
like these
that.
are teenagers with 3 question marks.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're all so gorgeous. And I'm like,
they're all
what
so
the
old,
hell?
and they
They're
don't act
so
like
old.
teenagers.
Right. Anywho, but yeah,
They
so
never
that's what
do,
we're going to be talking about
their
next
homework.
time.
They never do their homework. They just
They never do their homework. They never have projects. They never have assignments.
They never do anything
Like-
extra. Well, actually, okay, that's a lie. One of those is a football player. Two of them are cheerleaders. But we don't see them do anything. They never stress out like students do. Okay, high school is stressful.
Like I said, high school is stressful, and this is a taste of what you can get next time. So, from the Queer Review, I'm Benny.
And I'm not Hannah.
Hannah, I swear to God. I told you at the beginning of the episode not to mess up your name, and I would have expected you to not mess up your name this time. But you know what? I'm disappointed. I am so disappointed.
And that's the
I'm
last
Benny
episode
James,
of the Queer Review.
and the Queer Review is canceled. I think I said that the first episode, but we're canceled. No, we can't be canceled. We have to talk about Riverdale and take shits on it. Anywho,
We have to
I'm
at least
Benny
do that.
James. That's
Hannah.
Hannah. And thank you so much for listening to our review of Everything Sucks, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.